I am putting the intention out there that this video finds the people that need to hear it the most and the people that it's meant for. If you don't believe in any manifestation whatsoever, this video is not for you. Please click out of this video because this is really not for you. So I want to start off by saying that manifestation is so freaking real. It's just there are two things that you need to do it. And I'm going to tell you this with a real life story that just happened, and I reflect back on it and I'm like, this is the mental state and the energy that I was giving into this whole manifestation. And it happened in the most unlikely at all odds that it could be, because I was not in the best mental and physical state when this happened. So I want to say that to start off, the first one is that I was having a delusional mindset. I thought that it was already done. No, not even thought. I was thinking, or thought, you could think in past tense, but I was thinking that this is already done. God, the universe, the creator, whatever you believe in. I'm Catholic, so I pair up manifestation with Catholicism. Is that how you say it? But I pair it up with this manifestation stuff and my religion. So in my head, in my soul, in my mind, in my body, in my spirit, I believed that this was already mine. And let me tell you, I was not in the best mindset and physical state. Again, I want to reiterate that because I know that when you're manifesting, sometimes you're not in the highest vibe. So this is possible. So number one, I was believing delusionally that it was already mine. Number two, for some odd reason, my frequency at it was really high. I was vibing in the soul level and I wasn't vibing in my human body level, because when I was thinking about this, I wasn't thinking about what was going on in my body on earth. I was thinking that like what is happening in the etheric world of whatever is already panned out. It already happened. So delusion. So the story is, I've been having this pain in my body for so many freaking months. And I have a medical and healthcare background, and I know that if there's a pain that's persistent in a specific area in your body and your tests keep coming back normal and it's just superficial tests that you're getting done, you need to get a further examination done that really just looks at the microscopic portion of your body where it's happening. And I know that things can change so fast, especially with pain. You might be presenting pain symptoms, and then if you delay any type of testing that needs to get it fully diagnosed, it could come out as cancer because you waited too long. So I have a test that's scheduled for August, and I needed to get this pushed up as soon as possible because this pain has been so persistent for almost a year. So I go to the emergency department and I'm in pain. I'm in the distraught mental state. I'm crying. I don't even know. I feel like I'm being stabbed all over the place. That's the pain that I was in, and that mindset was just, I was down. My husband came with me. I'm glad and I'm lucky that he was with me. So I went to the emergency and they did blood work. They did an ultrasound. The ultrasound came back abnormal. But then they did my blood work came back normal. They did a CT scan and it came back normal. And I thought, no, like I need to make sure. I need an MRI done. I need a further testing that actually lets them put a scope through my body so they can actually see it. And I told my husband, like, we're going to get me admitted. I'm going to get a room and it's going to be a private room. This is what I was manifesting. I was going to get admitted. The test was going to get done the next day and I was going to get a private room. Against all odds, okay? I was in the emergency room when we arrived there. Let's go back a few steps. When we arrived there, apparently the ED that day started off with 100 plus patients in the morning. And obviously as time went by, I went a little bit later in the day. There's probably been more than 100 patients that day. So I got admitted in the ED, not yet in the rooms upstairs where it's like you get the private room where you're fully admitted. So I got a room in the ED and it was a gurney or stretcher, whatever you want to call it. And it was one of those rooms where you like open the curtain and you could see your neighbors and other patients in the ED. And I was like, I'm going to get a private room and blah, blah, blah. And the nurse that welcomed me during admission in the ED was like, just wanted to let you know, be prepared to be here all night because there are more than 20 patients in the ED right now that are waiting for rooms upstairs, but upstairs is absolutely full. There's absolutely no way you're going to be here all night and then you're going to get your procedure done tomorrow. And I looked at my husband. My husband's like, yeah, like be grateful that you already have like a bed at least. And I felt bad for him because he was just sitting on like a not comfy chair. And I was like, no, it's already happening. I told it, like, this is me crying, or like in my stubborn tone of voice, but I was not in a good mental state. My tone of voice was not very good. I probably wasn't communicating with the healthcare staff very well, more than just like a few words at a time, because I wasn't in a good mental state. But he knew the way that we communicate. I was like, no, it's happening. Like, in my head, I was like, God is already aligning everything. If we have to wait a few minutes or an hour or two, it's because things need to get out of the way in order for this to come together and happen the way that I see it happening. And maybe an hour after we had that conversation, mind you, this was at midnight, nobody's getting discharged, there's 20 plus patients, I'm not on that priority list to get a room upstairs. So maybe like 45 minutes to an hour after me and my husband had this conversation, the nurse comes in and she's like, I don't know how this happened, but there's a room available upstairs and you're going. And I was like, I just looked at my husband and I'm like, oh my God. So we didn't know if it was going to be a shared room or a private room, but in my husband's head, it was a shared room. But in my head, I'm getting a private room. And when the nurse gave the report to the unit that I was going to, she said, this is for a patient, blah, 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 going into room number, bed 1. And usually when you state the bed number, when you're giving reports, because it's a shared room. So I thought, oh, okay, fine. At least I get a room, at least it's shared. And I was like, I really hope it's like, I don't know, I want to be able to wash up. I felt disgusting. I hate that feeling. No matter how sick or how drunk or how out of the loop I am, I need to wash up and brush my teeth and be clean for bed. And my husband was like, that's fine. Like, at least you get a bed and at least we're comfortable. Maybe after the nurse told us, we were waiting for another hour and a half, and I was like, what is taking so long? I'm like, I already have a room. Why aren't they moving me? So maybe after an hour and a half-ish, the nurse calls again, and they're like, oh yeah, it's ready now. So they send a transporter, and another 20 minutes go by. So as the transporter comes and gets me and is pushing me on the stretcher, my husband asked the transporter and was like, oh, we're going to a shared room, right? And the transporter was like, no, actually, she was going to go to a shared room, but the room that we're going to now is private. Apparently, the patient that was there, their level of care changed and they needed to go to a different unit to get that level of care. So she's now going to a private room. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't do that, but my emotions inside were like, oh my gosh. So when we get into the room, I look at the room. It's a private room. There's a beautiful garden of a view. And I just think to myself, like, I manifested this. And I want to reiterate again that I wasn't in a good mental state. I was really low mentally in my human physical body. But in my mind, in my soul, I had unwavering delusional belief that this situation already happened. It's already there. It's already waiting for me. It's meant for me. That there was nothing that was gonna stop it. It was impossible for it to not happen. And when I think about it, I'm like, the delays that I waited, an hour and a half to 2 hours, it's kind of like what is that? When you leave the house accident theory, where you try to leave the house, but you keep going back and forth like 2 to 3 times to do something, is because you're trying to, like, the universe or God is trying to get you to avoid an accident that's supposed to happen in your way or something like that. That's what I think happened. And I'm not a pro at manifestation, but I really hope that this found somebody that needed to hear this, because this happened this week. And this situation manifestation might be so minuscule because it happened within like a 24-hour time, and I did end up getting all the tests that I need to get done, but it happened in a 24-hour time frame. But it's such a smaller scale, minuscule manifestation that maybe you could use it to like train the way that you manifest, the way that you vibrate, the way that your frequency is, the way that your intention is set, everything. Maybe it's a way for you to like train it and then make use of it to your larger, more bigger dreams or manifestations, whatever you want to say it. But I just really hope that this video of this story that happened to me this week helps somebody out there and believe that things really do happen as you wish it, in the most best possible way ever.